There are thousands of ISIS fighters that lurk in Syria, and the goal of destroying ISIS is not yet accomplished. But withdrawal without a plan is chaos. And I am urging President Trump not to do what President Obama did, which is just to get out and not understand what happens when you get out.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham in Turkey imploring President Trump to have a plan in place that ensures ISIS has been defeated before pulling U.S. troops out of Syria. This comes after 4 Americans were killed in a suicide attack in northern Syria Wednesday, ISIS claiming responsibility for that attack. Joining me now is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, a senior fellow and military expert for defense priorities. Colonel Davis, thank you for joining us. And
always my pleasure.
Absolutely. I want to start out by asking, can the U.S. military ensure that ISIS is defeated? Also, once U.S. troops are gone, won't Iran swoop in and Turkey will attack the Kurds?
Yeah, on the first point, no, it's absolutely impossible. If you set a goal, which Senator Graham just set there, then you are almost guaranteeing that American troops will never leave, because it is a physical impossibility to militarily go and destroy all the ISIS. It's not as though that they're sitting out there with a big ISIS T-shirt on that says, "Here I come, get me." They've all mostly melded back into the population, just like what happened in Iraq, just like what is existing in Afghanistan right now. That's why we haven't been able to get them out of there. But the bigger issue is for the United States is, what do we have to do to ensure our security? And the fact of the matter is, we need to withdraw our troops right now, because that's not how we keep our people safe here, by having them on the ground over there. And if I could just show you a big comparison to understand the scale, there is approximately, according to the DOD, 20,000 square miles where American troops are. That's 2,000 people. You disappear in there and you can't accomplish anything on there. And we haven't been so far, and we will never accomplish that goal. All we're going to do is have more casualties that don't help our country, and we need to get out.
What about President Trump's idea of possibly creating a safe zone at the Syrian border with Turkey? Is that a viable and effective option?
Well, it's certainly something that you can request, and you can put the diplomatic and other kinds of pressure on them to do that, because we did work with Common Cause with the Syrian Democratic Forces, and we both wanted ISIS taken out of their capital of Raqqa, and that was accomplished for both of us back in October of 2017. That's why, one of the reasons why the military should come back now, because they attained all that you can accomplish militarily. But the fact is that the truth is that Turkey is on the border with Syria. They consider that a terrorist threat, and they're going to take whatever is in their self-interest, and we can request things, but we don't have any leverage to force Turkey to do one thing or another, and that's just one of the realities on the ground.
Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, 2 soldiers, a Defense Department civilian, and a military contractor, 4 Americans killed in Syria last Wednesday. So, Colonel, is ISIS looking to, or have they already changed their strategy?
Yes, they absolutely already have, and this has been predicted long ago. Even before they ever lost their territory, it was clear, it was unquestioned, that as soon as we took their territory, they were simply going to turn into a classic insurgency, and like Al-Qaeda, and it's something that we have to battle everywhere. And already ISIS, or their derivatives, are all over the Middle East, parts of Africa, even some in Asia, and we have to defend on our soil against that. And the way we keep us safe here, no matter where the ISIS happens to pop up, is by having robust global intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance effort, and really effective efforts between our federal and local law enforcement agencies, which is what busted that plot against the White House just last week. That's how that was done, and that's how we're going to continue to keep safe, not by having troops overseas.
So that would be your strategy for Syria, more intel on the ground that can report back here and coordinate and thwart any possible,
Well, that's certainly ground intel can help and stuff, but it's the global issue of it, because their threats can come from all over the world. But what we have to realize is that we can't change the conditions on the ground in Syria, or we can't change the government in Iraq, or in Afghanistan for that matter. We can't affect what's going to go on over there. They're going to live however they're going to live, but we have an obligation to keep our people safe here, and we just have to get past this empty belief that having combat troops somewhere over there makes a difference over here, because it just has demonstrated it doesn't.
Colonel Davis, thank you so much.
Always my pleasure.